victory. I'm delighted to say we're joined by Captain Jamie George. Captain Fantastic, should we go with that?
Yeah, I'll take that, yeah. Cheers.
Okay, there are your stats. 6 carries, 37 metres made, 7 tackles, 2 tries. But most importantly, Jamie George, your first ever try for England as captain. Congratulations, round of applause, please.
Well done.
Cheers. Thanks.
That's like a real...
It's heartfelt.
It's like a 4 put.
Decent, mate.
I'm looking at that. I'm happy enough with that, yeah.
How was it for you today?
Yeah, it was brilliant. I was really pleased with the way that we went about it today. I think probably lessons from playing Japan in the summer was that we were playing their game. We got lured into playing their game, and that probably happened a little bit against Australia this autumn. So we're very clear about our identity. We speak a lot about getting our own house in order, and I thought we were clinical with that today.
Yeah, you like that, Courtney. You like the pragmatism in the first half, didn't you?
Yeah, the game plan looked legit to me. Like you were going to target them in the air, and then any 50-50s knock-ons, you were going to try and dominate them in the scrum, and it worked out very well. But you also kind of flipped that on his head and managed to get the ball into the wide channels and really expose them there as well, which is fantastic. What was the kind of game plan, the overall philosophy going into the game?
Yeah, it was that. It was just trying to find advantages. You know what it's like. We've got brilliant people in the air, so aerially, we wanted to bombard them a little bit there, but at the same time, with these new laws, you get a lot of balls back, you get a lot of unstructured attack, and we've got brilliant players in the outside channels who can do brilliant things, as you saw tonight. So it was trying to play like that and play off loose scraps, and the best way to attack a team is off unstructured balls. So really pleased with how we finished things off there.
9 tries. Right, you can't really ask for a lot more than that, can you? I know Japan aren't the...
I asked for 10.
You could have... Well, that's what we like to hear.
Yeah.
Were you looking for 10? Are you disappointed?
Double figures, that's what we were after.
Well, it's difficult, isn't it, when you're playing like Japan, haven't been going great. Their team is kind of coming together again, a lot of young fellas. So you knew they weren't going to be as strong as the other sides, right? So how do you face up to that? Well,
it's like you make the week about you. Also, when you're playing a team that's coached by Eddie Jones, you can't really expect anything. The only thing you can expect is that it's going to be wild and wacky, and you're going to get thrown things you probably don't see very often. And we saw a little bit of that today, but it was nice for us to be able to double down on what we needed to do. And I think we've done lots of good things over the last 3 or 4 weeks. Obviously, the results haven't gone our way, but it's pleasing to be able to get a result for all our fans here who've stuck by us, and most importantly, put in a good performance.
We'll talk about the series. We'll overview it in just a moment. But Flats, wasn't it great to see that attack in rugby? We know they're capable of it.
Yeah, I think we were sitting together watching the first half, and I knew in my head we were talking about the approach, and it was pragmatic. And if you can maul them over, do it. If you can scrum them over, do it. Assert yourself in an English way, and it works. And I knew in my head Courtney was right, but in my heart I was thinking I do want them to cut loose a little bit. I do want them to, lob it around a little bit and try some stuff. And I felt like really in attack, you guys, the slight home try towards the end of the first half was a turning point, and you guys really relaxed. I thought Marcus is always threatening, just always threatening, but Finn Smith looked great when he came on at 10, and I thought the attack went to another level, and you guys utilising those weapons out wide towards the end of the game. England looked really relaxed and cohesive in attack. Looked enjoyable.
It was really enjoyable, and that's exactly where we want to be. We've spoken a lot. I've been pretty outspoken about getting people off their seats here at the Allianz Stadium, and the way to do that is through results, but it's also through performances, and we've done that a lot with our attack in particular over the last 3 or 4 weeks. So it's a huge opportunity for us to build on that going forward.
Right, November. Close run things, many of them against top tier teams. Final 20 minutes, the headline from the media side of things has been just not putting them away. What's the headline been from England's perspective inside camp?
I think it's difficult. I think you probably have to take each game in isolation, if I'm completely honest, because they do look different. I know there's lots of talk about the fourth quarter and that last 20 minutes, and yes, that is right, but we could have done things a lot better in the first 62. So I think when we look at it, the positive side of it is that we put world-class teams under a huge amount of pressure. We fronted up against South Africa and made them do things that they don't usually do. We're this close to the ball going this much further left, and we beat New Zealand at home. I think probably when we reflect back, the Australia game is the one that we'll be most disappointed with, because we were poor. We hold our hands up. We weren't good enough. We weren't physical enough, and it wasn't a performance that we'll ever be proud of. But the great thing is that we're able to learn from it, find the solution, and make sure that we're a better team off the back of it.
What's the solution?
The solution is making sure that we get our own house in order. So I know I've said that a couple of times, but it's true. Our identity, what's expected of you when you play for this team, has to be very clear, and I think we went away from that in the Australia game in particular. But at the same time, I think there is a huge amount to be positive about over 4 performances as a whole.
Yeah. We spoke to Marcus a few minutes ago, Jamie, and he was still out of breath from the game, and it's so hard for you guys to zoom out so close to the final whistle so soon after. But it feels like there's been lots of good things that have happened. You've put top teams under pressure, but defensively things haven't quite been cohesive. It hasn't quite been connected. There have been holes through the middle every now and again. That this blitz, whatever you want to call it, the hammer, hasn't quite worked between 13 and 11. It's been a bit bitty and a bit here and there, 6s and 7s defensively. So perhaps that's undermined a lot of what you've done in attack. And to that end, we asked Marcus, do you think you stick with this blitz, this hammer defence, or do you think you back it off and just use it when you need to and be more passive sometimes? Where do you, immediately after the game and the series, stand on that?
I think it's part of our identity, the way that we put teams under pressure with our defence. I think we need to be much, much better at executing it. I think we did it in parts, but like you say, we let teams off the hook with poor system errors and fundamentally not being physical enough. So, you know, it's a good opportunity for us now to work out exactly what our defence looks like. My belief is that we stick to it, and, you know, I've loved being a part of this defence. It's pretty taxing physically, but, you know, in terms of our identity and the sort of team that we want to be, I like that.
What's the secret to cracking it?
The secret to cracking it is being clear on what we were doing right and wrong, but then committing 100% to what we do. I think if you're tentative in any part of that defensive system, then that's probably where errors come, and I think that's probably at times we've been a little bit tentative.
The communication and speed of ball is massive when you're doing a blitz defence, and how you can't. It's hard to blitz once they've made a half break or something like that. So it's going to be interesting to see going forward how you combat that, because you're still learning as a team, like how you're going to run this defence, how you're going to push teams, and it's really high risk, high reward. But we've seen the rewards and we've seen the risks, obviously. And I think, like you said, if you do stick to it, it will come good. But it's just, as you say, just you have to be pretty bloody minded about it.
And the difficulty with it as well, I guess, and Courtney, I think you're hitting on it there, is that, like, sometimes you want to go all blitz, but if you do get a half break against you, do you need to change? Do you know we need to go drift for the next few phases? Like, how does it work? You just go, this is what we do, and we'll just take the hits with it.
You double down.
You double down.
Right. And, like, you know, we want to be aggressive, we want to be confrontational, we want to put teams under the most amount of pressure that we possibly can, and you do that through a couple of ways. You do it through your line speed, but you also do that through your physicality and your work post tackle. So there are 3 areas that we need to look at, 3 areas that we probably need to find solutions for, and you know, we're not stupid. We're pretty clear that, you know, we've leaked too many points, especially here at home. So yeah, we're gonna go away and make sure we get better.
The thing is, and I'll get accused of gloating by Stephen Jones about this England team, because there's so much talent. We see them coming through the Premiership. We know the talent's there and the attacking ability, and that's been the frustration, I think, for all of us, the fans and the media. How close do you think you are to it clicking, to really clicking against the top
honestly,
tier?
like, you know, I was just saying to Flats there before we came on air, genuinely the belief in the camp is there. You know, we believe in what we're doing. We know what we need to do, and like you say, we've got so many talented players. I think you see it through the selections throughout this campaign, the players we're able to bring in, and, you know, the likes of young Asher coming off the bench. There are good young players who are doing brilliant things in the Premiership at the minute. So we're very, very close. You know, we don't want to be a very close team, but you know, I know that I speak on behalf of everyone that I'm very excited for this Six Nations.
I'm just looking at Tim behind, who's the press officer, going, "Yeah, we're done. You're done with them now."
Can we just talk about Asher quickly? I know you weren't on when he came on today, but you trained with him, you played against him. Strong boy, eh?
Very strong, very, very, very big future.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Done.
Go.
Right.
Go. Thanks so much. Well done.
Thank you very much.